Hello, friends. We have a separate video on the core precepts of self-realization, but I thought we might want to expand that a little bit into some of the attributes, virtues, qualities, activities that come along for the ride, as it were. If you're seeking self-realization, that's a very high bar and a very high goal, the highest goal. So how do we get from here to there? A core value, a core precept and attitude, perhaps greater than all others in some respects at least, is the feeling aspect of our nature. It's the inspiration, the feeling that we wish to attune ourselves to a higher consciousness. How you define God, how you define spirit, whether father, mother, friend, beloved, or in the form of a deity or guru, is according to your own heart's natural inclinations. But the aspiration to know and receive the guidance and presence and blessing of higher consciousness in some form or another is very, very helpful. Some aspire to the absolute, and that, of course, is philosophically pure and correct. It's just that here we are encased in this human body, very human with a personality, and it's probably easier for most people to address higher consciousness in a form they can personally relate to. But again, that's really up to you. Another aspect, and a very important one, even more important than meditation, which is a given here at Ananda, it's a given that you meditate, and some people do a lot of meditation, some can only do a little bit for various reasons, but so that's a given. But even more important than meditation, for all but somebody in a cave maybe, is the company you keep. It's called satsang. And satsang is, who do you hang out with? Do you hang out at Joe's Bar and Grill, or do you hang out with devotees at the temple? Now that's an extreme contrast, of course, but ultimately who you hang out with is takes place in the mind and in the heart. But the external environment is also very important. So satsang, the company you keep, determines even more probably than the amount of time one is able to spend in meditation deeply, is even more important. So we have classes, we have Sunday service, we have various things called satsangs, informal gatherings to talk about and share our high ideals and our practices. Giving of ourselves even financially, which, we attach a lot of value, so to speak, and status and importance to our financial resources, and a spirit of generosity and compassion and serving the spiritual work is very important. The emphasis on living simply. You can live simply in a palace or in a forest hut, but the attitude of simplicity, foregoing unnecessary necessities, for example, living sustainably on our planet, for example, being aware of your impact and your footprint on the world around you. These are all important qualities that we emphasize here at Ananda. Moderation in sensory indulgences like food and sex, those are also a given on the spiritual life, because those indulgences emphasize our dependence and identification with the pleasures of the body. They're not evil, it's just that they're not enough. And they substitute and obscure the more refined, sort of like the difference between a cheesy candy bar and a exquisitely made dessert. There's a more refined pleasure that comes in the contemplation of higher realities and qualities, devotion, wisdom, etc. And so a life of moderation, self-control, self-restraint, particularly in regards to things like anger and irritation, those kinds of things. Those are all a given really everywhere in the world for sincere spiritual seekers. And lastly, I'll say swadhyaya, self-study, introspection, self-awareness, living more internally within yourself, more centered in yourself, calmer, quieter, aware of the things you say, aware of habits that have grown up around your life like a tangle of weeds, and so on. Characteristics that you've inherited from your upbringing and attitudes, stepping back from one's opinions, questioning them, not holding to them too strongly, for example, being open to truth teachings and open to the guidance and inspiration of those perhaps a little further along on the spiritual path. So those are just some of the qualities that come along with these wonderful precepts like God realization, self-realization, liberation, karma, reincarnation, these kinds of precepts is how to live. All right, thank you.